Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley, and if you're new here, we like to talk about stuff like the law of attraction, spirituality, self-development, and overall creating a high vibrational state of living. Now, today's video, well, if you've already clicked on it, then you know what we're going to talk about today. We're actually going to talk about how I manifested my stolen car back. Now, this is somewhat of a long story, and I'll go into it in as much detail as necessary, and I'll also explain my process in the story as to how I manifested, and then I'll give you a quick recap at the end on a step-by-step process that worked for me. But before we get into today's story, I just want to send you guys a quick reminder to please comment, like, subscribe, especially if you guys enjoy this type of content on YouTube. I really enjoy creating stuff like this. And if you have any other comments on videos that you guys want to see, leave them in the comments below. Any suggestions so I can work on creating content that you guys would like. All right, so let's get into today's story. Now, this actually just happened yesterday. It was a Sunday and it was super nice outside, super sunny. It was in the middle of the day, 35 degrees outside. We were having a really nice day. So I was at home with my husband. It was pretty chill, like I said, we're just hanging out. And I decided I wanted to go to the gym. So to give you guys a little bit of background here, we have a few cars, and one of them, the one that got stolen, is a Range Rover. And this car is sentimental to me because it was one of the cars that I had always wanted. I got it as a Christmas present a few years ago. So it was kind of like a dream car for me at the time. And recently, we had actually been talking about whether or not we wanted to sell it, whether we wanted to just replace it, get rid of it somehow. And I think I'm fairly certain this is why the act of it being stolen was manifested, was because we had actually been talking about selling the car, getting rid of it in general. So I think that is kind of what provoked this entire event to happen. So it was a Sunday. It was yesterday. We were just chilling, hanging out, and I decided I wanted to go to the gym. So I'm getting ready, and my husband's in his office, and from his office, he has a window that looks directly into the driveway. So I'm getting ready. I go upstairs, and I can see from our master bedroom, there's a window that looks straight down onto the front of the house, onto the driveway, and I can see the car there. Everything's normal. I'm getting dressed, getting ready. I go downstairs and I start putting what I need in my bag, and I walk out the door. So I head out the door, and right away I kind of notice that something was off, and it clicks that the car is not there anymore. So initially I thought my husband had moved the car. Maybe he dropped it off to go get cleaned, or maybe he dropped it off to have it repaired for something. He's done this in the past where he doesn't tell me, and then I find out later. So I didn't initially panic. But as I'm walking down the driveway, there was like this voice in my head that told me, no, something is off here. So I turn around and I walk back into the house, and I go ask my husband, hey, where's the car? And he has this look of shock on his face, and I could tell right away that it wasn't him. So he pulls back the curtain in his office, looks out the window onto the driveway, and he doesn't see the car. So he's like freaking out. He's like, what? How is this possible? We were here the entire time. So he calls the police, reports the car stolen. The police tell him that it's going to be a few hours for them to get to the house, just because this is not a high priority type of case. There's no violence involved. It's pretty low on their radar. So it is what it is, and the police said they'll come as soon as someone's available. So in the meantime, we're kind of just trying to figure out what happened, because we both remember seeing the car in the driveway earlier that day. So a few days before this happened, I had actually noticed some security cameras on my neighbor's house. And I don't know why this was something I noticed. It was just something that was such a significant visual in my mind one time when we were driving in. And I guess this is now why. But so we go to her house first, and we tell her what happened. And of course, she's completely shocked, completely surprised that this could happen in the type of neighborhood that we live in. And we ask her, is it possible for us to review your footage, because our car literally got stolen right out of our driveway? So of course, she's very nice. She says yes. And my husband starts looking through the video footage with her. And while he's doing that, I'm walking down the rest of our street to see if there's any other neighbors that have video cameras installed. So while I'm doing that, my husband's going through the footage and he's able to see exactly when the car was taken. So at exactly 4:13 p.m., we can see someone. It was very grainy, so it was hard to see, but you can see someone walking up the street, and you can only see the top of their head because that's where the camera cuts off, and it was also blurry, but you can see the top of their head, and they walk up onto the other side of the driveway, which was the furthest from the camera. They get into the car, and then they sit there for like 10-15 seconds, and then you see the car drive away at exactly 4:13 p.m. And I had actually exited the house to go to the gym at around 4:15, 4:16, and my husband had called the police at 4:18 p.m. because we were able to see the timestamp on his phone from when he made the call. So this person literally had somewhere between 75 to 90 seconds to walk up to the driveway, break into the car, start it somehow without us hearing, and drive away without anything, without any suspicious behavior, without anyone seeing him, without me seeing him. And it's just crazy to me when I was thinking about it earlier that I was able to miss this guy by maybe a minute and a half. And I like to think that this was probably for a reason, because who knows, I don't know if this guy was armed. I like to think that maybe the universe was protecting me from this confrontation. But whatever the case is, this guy was in and out very quickly. I feel like this is probably someone that has done this several times. So with that information, we go to the rest of the houses on the street that have other security cameras. And of course, we're knocking on a few, and some of them didn't have the footage recorded. They only have it when you ring the doorbell and you can see who's there. Others were not home. But then we get to one of the neighbors, maybe like 3 houses down. She tells my husband that, of course, she'll take a look at the footage with her husband because she wasn't familiar on how to use it. So they look at it and they can see someone walking up the street, and they had a black hoodie on. They were tall, skinny, and I think he was a white male. So they see him wearing this big black hoodie covered, which is extremely suspicious to me because it was 35 degrees outside, very, very hot outside yesterday. But anyway, so they see him walking towards the car, getting in, and then driving away just from the opposite angle. So at least we were able to get some confirmation here that it was indeed stolen, because initially we thought that maybe the city had towed it away for some reason. But at this point, we knew what was going on. So when we found out all this information, it had been about an hour or so, and we had kind of calmed down a little bit. The panic had subsided a little, and at this point, I was just kind of trying to find the silver lining here. Like I said earlier, we were thinking about getting rid of the car, selling it, or whatever. So I'm just trying to make myself feel better about the entire situation. Just telling my husband, look, it's fine. We have insurance. Maybe we can get a new car. We can get a better car. We wanted to get rid of the car anyway, so maybe this is just working out in our favor. So after that, the cops still hadn't showed up to the house, and we weren't sure how long they were going to take. So my husband just tells me, go to the gym. Don't worry about it. I'll deal with it. And I also wanted to kind of just distract myself from the entire situation. So I walk to the gym, and immediately as I start heading over, I put on some Abraham Hicks content, some law of attraction content. And I listened to that for maybe like 10 minutes, but then I realized that I kind of just didn't want to focus on the problem right now. I kind of just wanted to make myself feel better and make myself feel good about something completely different. I just wanted to elevate my mood here. So I'm walking and I start playing some Euro 90s, early 2000s music, just vibing out, enjoying my walk. It was sunny. It was a nice day. So I get to the gym, start doing my workout, start focusing on sweating, building some muscle, just completely trying to distract myself from what had just happened in the last hour. So towards the end of my workout, I'm on the cardio machines and these thoughts start coming back into my head. And all I can think of is that I really want my car back. Like, I really like my car. This was a Christmas present. It was my dream car at one point. Even though we were thinking of getting rid of it, I still really liked it. I was somewhat attached to it. But when I felt myself going down this rabbit hole, I just started thinking in the opposite direction. I just started telling myself, it's fine, it's okay. We wanted to get a new car. We wanted to get rid of it. And if the universe is going to bring it back to me, it's going to bring it back to me in the most random way, that the universe has a way of working things out. And if it doesn't bring it back, it's fine, because we had other plans anyways. I was just basically spewing information into my mind to distract myself from the fact that it was gone, and to just try to make myself feel better about the situation, find the silver lining, and convince myself that even if I would never see my car again, that it would be totally okay and that I was fine without it. So I finished my workout and my husband tells me he's going to come meet me at the gym because there's a grocery store next door. So we were going to go buy some things and then head back home. So he comes, he meets me, picks me up. And as we're about to exit the parking lot of the grocery store, we get a text message. He gets a text message from one of our neighbors. And this was the same lady that had the video footage from the opposite direction. And she said that she had just gone to go pick up her mom in the neighboring town, which was about 10, 12 minutes driving away. And she tells us that her mom, after she told her the story of what happened, her mom tells her on the phone at the exact same time, she's telling her, yeah, there's a weird Range Rover parked in front of my house that I've never seen before. It has Ontario plates and it's these specific letters. So she calls us, our neighbor calls us and tells us these things. And we're like, that has to be the car. There's too much of a coincidence there, because we're living in Quebec and you don't see as many Ontario plated cars here as you normally would. And it was just parked in an awkward place at that time. So they give us the directions of where it is. And we immediately start driving there. We get there and of course our car is parked there. And our minds were completely blown. What are the chances that our neighbor who got the footage, she couldn't really help us out with any more information, but she did tell us that she was going to go tell her friends and family about it. What are the chances that our neighbor tells her mom about the story, and then her mom looks out the window and tells her that there's a strange car that she's never seen, but that fits the description that's parked outside her house. And then our neighbor, her daughter, goes to pick up her mom, and because they had dinner plans together that night, and then she goes there and then she sees our car there as a confirmation from what her mom had told her. What are the chances that this thief takes our car, parks our car right in front of our neighbor's mother's house in the next town 15 minutes over? Completely blew our mind. Like, what are the chances that they would pick this one particular spot to park our car that would somehow lead it back to us within a couple hours of the car being stolen? So we get there. It was probably around 7:30 and the car was stolen at 4:15. So approximately 3 hours later, we get our car back. There was some damage to the car. They had ripped the back part, and apparently, I think that's where they keep like a GPS or something. A lot of these high-end cars or a lot of the newer cars have GPS trackers in them. So I think they were trying to rip out the GPS from the back, and they had blown out one of our tires. I guess they were trying to do like a quick getaway and ran over something because they had changed one of the tires and threw it in the back seat and used the spare tire. And there was a bunch of scratches on it and whatnot, but we were so happy. And honestly, our minds were completely blown that our car was found in the most random way, in the biggest coincidence of ways. And it was found within hours of it being stolen, especially after the cops told us that we should probably just not even try, that they weren't going to make this a priority, and that it was very likely that we would never see our car again. So now basically we just kind of have to take our car to the dealership and go through the whole insurance process, and they're going to repair it and whatnot. But definitely very happy and thankful to have my car back. Don't forget to be thankful for when your manifestations come true. Now, to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown here, I know this was a little bit of a long story, so let me give you a short and sweet breakdown of what worked for me in a step-by-step process in order to manifest something that you've lost or something that you want back. So initially, step one, I would say if someone steals something from you or if you've lost something, I think step one would be to just make peace with what just happened. You know, it sucks. It's not an ideal situation, but make peace. It is what it is. You don't have to be happy about it, but just make peace. Tell yourself it is what it is and that you're not going to die. It's not the end of the world and that it's fine. Step two would be to try to find the silver lining. And for me, it was that we were looking for a new car anyways. You know, it was probably the universe's way of making it easier for the car to get stolen than for us to sell it. Because initially we were trying to sell it through where we had bought it, but they wanted to give us less than what the car was worth. So we were thinking of selling it privately. But we just hadn't entirely made up our mind. So I guess the universe's way of getting rid of the car was to have it stolen. Step three, I think, would be to distract yourself after you've made peace with it, after you've tried to find the silver lining, would be to focus on something completely different. I know this is a lot easier said than done, especially if what's taken from you or what's missing is of high significant value. But try your best, do what you can to make sure that you put yourself in a higher vibrational state. And if you guys don't know how to do that, I'll link some videos here that I've done that give you guys some of my top tips on how I elevate my mood. And again, like I said in those videos, one of those tips helped me elevate my mood during this entire ordeal, and that was listening to some music, going to the gym, just vibing out and distracting myself. And then the last step would be to just really believe, have faith that the universe is going to bring you what you wanted. And if it doesn't bring you what you wanted, it's because there's something better coming for you. And truly focus on letting go. You know, it's great if it comes. It's okay if it doesn't, because there's always something else out there. And for the most part, it's usually something better. All right, so I hope that was somewhat of a motivational and inspiring story for you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you have any similar stories or any other manifesting tricks that have worked for you in the past, leave them in the comments below. If you guys have any other video suggestions, of course, also leave them in the comments below. And if I think of any other stories like this where I've manifested something almost instantaneously and I think you guys could relate to, I'll definitely make other videos on those topics as well. All right, so that's it for today's video, guys. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.